Has that ever crossed your mind for a second?
Why should I be here?
Yeah, the imposter syndrome.
Of course. What are you talking? I've built a career on the imposter syndrome.
I know, but
I'm constantly looking about saying, how is any of this happening?
Right.
And I think that they're talking about someone behind me. And sometimes they are, actually.
That has happened. That's a terrible feeling. But I still navigate life looking at people like you going, I bet he bloody doesn't feel it.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Muniz, and that was a snippet of Matthew Rice talking on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I'm a bit curious about imposter syndrome. It's something I think I suffer from. I feel like a lot of other people do too. For example, my friend Sid.
I'm Sid Schwartz. I am a freelance sound mixer and boom operator. I graduated in the spring of 2023. I was terrified that I was never going to work on a set in real life. I thought that my set experience was going to be limited to the student sets that I worked on at UT, and I didn't think I was ever going to get hired on another project. I thought student sets was it for me. I guess I thought imposter syndrome would be more related to my creative abilities. Anyone who's in a creative position feels imposter syndrome at some point because they don't believe that their talent is what's impressing people or keeping people interested and I guess interested in their work and keep people believing in their work.
That is one of the hallmark traits of imposter feelings. When you have friends and colleagues telling you how great you are and saying all of these nice and wonderful things about you, you find yourself just wondering, can I live up to these lofty expectations?
That was David Cockley. He's a professor of psychology at the University of Michigan. I forgot to mention, I'm particularly interested in imposter syndrome in artists and creative professionals. People like actors. Here's Viola Davis.
Recognize in all the artists I've worked with. It's in all of them. So I know the language of the artist. And the language of the artist is, someone's going to find me out. I may not be as great as people think I am.
My name's Eric Friend, and I am a sound designer and audio post-production mixer in Austin, Texas. So how would you define, imposter syndrome meaning the feeling of being an imposter, of doing something that you feel like that you're not quite 100% sure that you're qualified to do?
Ooh, good question, Eric. I guess I should have defined that before, but I hate to say I'm no expert, so let's go back to Professor Cockley for that.
The imposter phenomenon is basically the sentiment that one is being intellectually fraudulent. It's the idea that individuals who are very accomplished, very competent, very intelligent people, nevertheless feel like they are fooling people. They believe that they are not nearly as smart and competent as their accomplishments would suggest.
Getting certain jobs was about being in the right place at the right time in the minds of people who were hiring. I don't necessarily think that my skill or my talents are what drove me to get these jobs. I think it was because I was able and willing and at the forefront of people's minds at the exact right time. I feel a lot of imposter syndrome in between gigs because I'm not getting anything. So I feel like the gigs that I have gotten have been luck, and that luck has run out. But I have to remind myself that it's more than that. My presence on these sets is more about my skill than my luck, and I have a hard time reminding myself that.
Back to Eric.
I think when I was studying and working with other people, I felt like I didn't feel like I knew exactly what I was supposed to do or what was expected of me, and there wasn't much feedback from other people if I was doing a good job or if it was something that I was supposed to do. But eventually, yeah, it became less of a thing. And it's not because I feel like I definitely still don't know what I'm doing, or that not that I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like there's no correct answer for what we do, especially in a creative business.
But how can we cope with it?
I think it feels better to know that people who are actually making it in the industry feel the same way, because it makes it possible for me.
Embrace that nervousness. That's kind of what I found out with stage fright. I feel is a similar thing. And I get really nervous, and then I harness that energy. And I think it's the same with imposter syndrome, is maybe if you're feeling nervous about something, to harness that nervousness and like focus that energy into like making sure that you're doing the best that you possibly can.
Anybody, any filmmaker, any writer, any actor. But what it does on a healthy level, it keeps you humble and it keeps you working.